Tonight the Stars Revolt by Gardner F. Fox, originally published in Planet Stories, March 1952, read by Jon Gill. Part 3. The dictator of Carr was a big man. He was solid in the shoulder and slim in the waist. His head was bald, and there was a jagged scar across his right temple. He sat on his jeweled throne and drummed restless fingers against the hand-carved arm. Beside him sat a woman with slow eyes and hair the color of a raven's wing. The thin stuff of her gown clung to supple haunches and proud breasts. She watched the new ambassador from Noak thread a path through the gusts, unable to decide whether the man was ugly or ruggedly handsome, but he was big, with a long, heavily muscled arms and legs, and he had a look of a fighter. Mona laughed softly. There was music in her voice and art in the manner of her movement as she drew closer. Her eyes ran over his big frame, slumberously. Red Angus came to a stop at the base of the dais and bowed low. He was a pirate, but he had been in the great capitals of the 6 worlds. "Your first visit to Carr," smiled Stall Tay. "The first, Excellency." "You like the court we keep?" Red Angus knew of the taverns and swill-wet streets of the lower city. He knew the people were slaves to the hierarchy and to the dictator and his little coterie. Girls danced and pandered to the desires of the rich. If they did not, things were done to them in secret. He knew men grew old before their time, working to pay for the rare jewels that Moana and others like her flaunted. But he murmured, "Plegaston of Noak has said, for the good of the state, the greatest number of its people must enjoy the greatest amount of its highest rewards." But Plegaston was a dreamer. Moana gestured Angus to the golden chair beside her. She let her fingertips brush his hand as he took the seat. "Tell me about yourself, Bental." Angus grinned. "I am a relative of His Eminence of Noak. That explains all about me. But you're priestess to the god Stazar. You've gone into the black pool to face him. You've heard his pronouncements." Moana made a wry face and shrugged. Stains of music swept down from the fluted ceilings, diffused throughout the room. Her black eyes glowed. "Don't talk religion to me, Bental. Take me in your arms and let us dance." She was warm and fragrant, following his movements. Her dark eyes enticed as her hands fluttered from his arms to his shoulders to his neck. She made the moments fly. Seated with her at a table, letting her feed him playfully, he almost forgot his mission. And then the room darkened. The hidden musicians made their stringed instruments dance with savage rhythm, and in a circle of golden light, her white flesh gleaming fitfully through a garment of diamonds. A woman swayed out into the cleared floor, and Angus remembered. He was here to kill a man. The woman in the service of the hierarchs was a fire flame, out there with the jeweled dress cloud of living rainbows swirling about her. She pirouetted, dipped, and leapt. She was motionless and a storm of movement. She laughed. She wept. She taunted and cajoled. She was everything any woman ever was. Angus saw her eyes darting, hunting him. They slid over his deep chest and long legs, square jaw and close-cropped red hair many times without recognition. Only towards the end, as the beam of light that spotlighted her dance touched him too, did she know him. Her surprise made her stumble, but she recovered swiftly. She whirled around the room, diamonds tinkling faintly to the stamping of her bare feet. She threw herself into the dance of the garlands of gems and made it a living thing. When she came back to the black curtains, she posed for an instant, moving her arms in the agreed signal, and was gone. The dictator lifted a hand and gestured. Angus bowed to Moana and got to his feet. With all the iron control he had developed on the lonely star trails, he fought to keep his hand from his knife haft. He bent to take his seat. Now his right hand was sheltered by his body and put in on the dagger. The thin blade whispered, coming out of the scabbard. Red Angus leaned forward and thrust at the throat before him. 4 hands came out of midair and fastened to his wrist. They dragged him down by surprise and by the weight of their bodies. He went off his chair in a rolling fall, hitting the man to his left, toppling him backwards into Stall Tay. The end. Thank you for listening.